Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network. Over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
There, everybody. Welcome to the Sports
Podcast.
I'm Joel Anderson.
I'm Jordan Pomaville.
And joining us, as always, is the sports outsider, Phil Ranta.
Hey, Phil here, ready to do a podcast.
Oh.
Yep.
Ready, but still outside.
Still outside. I'm still a sports outsider. I don't know anything about sports, so this is a sports podcast. I don't know anything about sports. These two knuckleheads are joking around knowing a lot about sports. That's the premise.
Yup.
I do enjoy when you explain the premise. It comes off better than when we explain it and when I attempt to do it in song, which doesn't make a lick of sense.
Right, yeah.
We are going to get our theme song down that explains the premise of our show at some point. We have the melody, obviously, from the wonderful theme written by Mike Constantini.
Yeah.
Jordan and I have been working
song.
in the lyrics.
It's like, we are the sports podcast, and we talk about sports podcast. Then there's a dude named Phil who doesn't know about sports, and then there's the other two. They're gonna talk sports. They're gonna talk sports. Sketches and improv comedy.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yep.
That's how we end it.
Okay. Yeah.
Phil, catching the games this week.
Nope.
Tecmo Bowl update, watch update.
Tecmo Bowl update, watch update. Brought to you by
Febreze. Buy Febreze at a store.
Hey.
I like that.
Hey.
Here's what I'll say, and I feel like my idea was taken because I didn't invent a product, but I take in your shower. I'm sorry, I'm gonna take us on a quick detour.
No.
You take your shower thing and you can take it down and you can like splash yourself.
Oh,
in the
you've
shower.
got one of those shower nozzles.
Yeah, shower nozzles.
Fancy.
Yeah, that you can like masturbate with.
Yep.
I call it personal shower.
Yeah.
And every time I use it, I say to myself, personal shower, a product at the store. And I thought it's a perfect tagline. What is personal shower? A product. Where can I buy it?
At
the
a store.
So this is why I really appreciate that Febreze. It's straightforward. It's like Muppets Take Manhattan, you know?
Manhattan?
Muppets Take Manhattan.
Oh, I thought they were panhandling in Manhattan, and it was called Panhattan.
Kermit gets amnesia, becomes an
Yeah.
advertising
Phil
executive.
Gil and Lil.
It's the darkest of the Muppet movies.
It is.
I would say The Great Muppet Caper is the darkest of the Muppet movies.
that's
Yeah.
a
Well,
fair-
you know what's not dark? The Fab Four round of these football
called that.
playoffs.
Believe we informed you last week that you're
Yep.
grossly off.
1991 San Francisco 49ers in the NES game Tecmo Super Bowl. Joe
Montana,
Jerry
Jerry
Rice. So this
You're in
week,
the NFC Championship now.
NFC Championship game. I was the San Francisco 49ers versus the Giants.
Which we already knew because you looked ahead last week,
Like
Phil.
a damn
It was an
fool.
accident.
Like a damn fool.
But here's what I did because I looked ahead. Beat the hell out of them.
Boom!
I beat the hell out of them.
Sometimes advanced scouting works.
Sometimes it does, and you know why? Because I knew Dave Meggett was going in injured this time. So you know what I did?
Hit them low. Hit them right in the knees.
I covered their receivers, sent all my guys out to their receivers, knew they didn't have a running game. So they were like, I don't know who to pass it to. And then I was able to stop them a whole bunch of times, and I won 47-7.
Wow. They did not pose much a challenge.
No, they did not pose much a challenge at all.
Why did their quarterback have Down syndrome?
Huh?
The quarterback voice you just did,
Yeah.
too, having a hard time. They didn't know who to pass to.
Oh, that was my impression. I did a lot. I studied his tapes and
Okay.
his interviews, and
Phil Simms.
I'm a perfect mimic.
actually a television commentator now.
I'm an excellent. I can mimic any voice I hear.
And that
perfectly
did actually
upon
sound
hearing.
exactly like Phil Simms.
Yeah. I beat the hell out of him. I had like 350 yards passing. I didn't even have to run with
You
Joe
passed again?
Montana.
I thought you haven't been able to pass him forever.
Well, this is the thing is that late in the game, they kick off very far,
Yep.
right? And
Those are early in the game where they have all the short kickoffs.
well, early in the season, some kickoffs are long, some of them are short. This time they do it long every time, and you can't run very far because their defense is insane. But
Special teams.
But I did realize the person who was guarding Jerry Rice this time around, not a very quick guy.
You played the matchup.
So
Take
I
advantage
just
of
kept
a
going out
mismatch.
for long bombs, and I just kept throwing it way downfield. Jerry Rice would catch it and run that ball right in for the touchdown.
And the fans ecstatic, I assume, now that you're heading to the Super Bowl?
They were doing their little animation. I had the little NFC Championship animation where the other team was sadly walking into the locker room.
Were
and
there
I was
any
like,
hot
"Fuck
pixelated
you!"
women in it?
Yep, the whole halftime. I had the Good Luck halftime show. It was the 4 shots of the hot women. None of the blimps, none of the balloons, just the women. I'm a man. Yep, that was my game. So I'm going into the Super Bowl.
And who are you playing in the Super Bowl?
I don't know.
This actually, now I know we tell you never to look ahead. At
Yep.
this point, you have a week between you have 2 weeks between
Yeah.
the NFC Championship and the
Next
Super
week
Bowl.
you have a bye. I don't know if you knew
Next
that.
week
Nope.
you have a bye.
No, we don't. I'm going to play it.
All right. Well, I'm just saying you got 2 weeks. So it's okay to look ahead and find out who your opponent is to start preparing in the practices.
I can't
So you don't look ahead.
because I don't look ahead except for last time, which turned out very good.
Tecmo Bowl update, watch update.
Tecmo Bowl update, watch update. Brought to you by
Febreze, you can buy it inside your pants. It's in your pants. Buy it in your pants. Give your penis money.
I am going to cut that off. I do not like that drop. I do not like that drop one bit. Right now, I feel like the General and Monty Python. That got too silly. I do not like that one bit. Why would you give your penis money? What you cannot
I
buy
thought that it
Febreze
worked pretty
in
well.
your pants.
I thought that it worked. I thought it worked well.
We had come so far. I thought Febreze had finally made a rational marketing choice in saying,
Well, they did.
buy it
they
at the
did
store.
with that first drop, that second one, and it started so well, and then it
Yeah.
it veered off. Into
I think they went off script again.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, they only have one more week of drops. Like,
Right.
after the Super Bowl,
I
like
wonder if the people doing the Febreze drops is really relieved by that.
yeah, they finally get let out of the hatch so they can see the sun for the first time.
All right, what do we got in the show today?
Oh, let's see. We got a couple of big interviews. Today is our big NBA Finals episode. Wall to wall. Sports.
Skibidi-bop-ba-dow.
No.
Whatever happened to
That was not John Tesh. But the NBA on NBC theme song is.
all right.
Fortunately, this is on ABC. In any case, it's our big NBA Finals show. Heat,
Right.
Spurs, dunks, 3-pointers, and
buzzer beater?
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not gonna watch, but I would sure love a buzzer beater.
oh, and if there's a buzzer beater,
We will let you know.
we'll let you know. I'll send you a clip of it. I bet.
Thank you, TiVo it.
Yeah. Oh, I will.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have on the show today Phil Jackson.
Yep. Phil
Yeah.
Jackson, the Zen master himself,
Positive
11-time NBA champion. Now, I know some of you at home are thinking to yourselves, you said he was going to be on last week,
Right.
And
We
then
have
he
him this
wasn't.
week. Well, he
We
was
have
bumped.
him. Well, he
We
was
ran-
here last week, and he's
we
back
ran out of
again this
time.
week.
Yeah.
Surprisingly mellow about getting bumped by our podcast when he's the 11-time NBA champion.
You know, he's retired. When you retire, I think you start letting a lot of things go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he'll be here. We can ask him about his career. We
Also,
can ask him
he's
about
just-
the NBA Finals.
He's just the Zen master.
He's a
Yeah.
chill guy.
He's one of the first guests who didn't punch me while leaving,
That's wonderful.
and I actually did something to
In
deserve it. I bumped
fairness,
him.
Yeah, we didn't actually do the interview, so maybe that's why he didn't.
That's
punch
probably
you.
why.
We also
yeah.
have, and this is a weird one.
We have he's an Italian soccer expert. He played for a long time in the league, and he is going to come and talk to us about. There's a lot of flopping controversy in the NBA.
There is.
So we're gonna get he's a flopping expert from an Italian soccer league who's gonna come in
Oh.
here and give us his perspective on the NBA flopping.
That's funny
issue.
because I thought that the people who worked at DreamWorks in development were flopping experts.
Oh, shit!
Their movies have been poor in the last few years. Poor movies.
Hey, Phil, we got a weird sport?
You goddamn right we do.
And on to the news.
News on the Sports Podcast with Jordan, Joel, and Phil.
News. Tim Tebow, update, watch update.
Tim Tebow, update, watch, update. Brought to you by
Mentos, feel the rush in your mouth.
Love it. That's
Yeah.
a great tagline.
Note how they stick to the same tagline. That's branding 101 right there for you.
That is.
Even though, as discussed before in the podcast, the drop itself is a weird one. Feel the rush in your mouth.
A little.
I like
But
it.
they've stuck to
Wait,
it.
it's feel the rush in your mouth? I thought it was feel the rush in your mouth.
No.
No,
No?
I think it's
No,
feel the rush
absolutely not.
in your mouth.
I was gonna say I thought it would make more sense if it was feel the Russian in your mouth or feel the Russian with your mouth.
Yes, but it's just feel the rush in your mouth.
Can't believe I've misunderstood that all these years.
I know, it's hard to believe. It's a good thing you're not doing the Mentos drops.
Yep.
New England Patriots signed Tim Tebow.
Oh, what?
Subheadline: the phrase quarterback controversy to never be spoken.
I thought he was gonna play indoor football.
Oh, don't know.
Oh, wow.
Did not accept those offers.
Too bad.
did not take
$50 a
those.
game, right?
Tim Tebow has signed with the New England Patriots. There is no word on terms of the contract, but sources indicate it's for 2 years and has no guaranteed money. This is a public service announcement for more research, better care, and better understanding of head trauma injuries.
Ooh.
2 years, no guaranteed money. You hope they're taking care of these guys.
Yeah, I would hope so.
If God is listening, Tebow will be wearing number 5, lest he confuse him with another player prominently kneeling and praying. No word on how they'll use Tebow, but he was signed as a quarterback and likely the backup to the backup, Ryan Mallett, who opposite of Tebow has an advocate in the Lord of Darkness, Satan.
Hey, there
So
we
this will
go.
be a fun end-of-days-esque battle for the backup position, which, they're competing for the backup spot. So clearly God and the devil really don't have the influence they used to.
That's too bad.
Bernard Pollard, though.
In case you're wondering, Tom Brady is backed by Head & Shoulders and Pert Plus for men.
Oh, they should try some Febreze.
They really should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he uses fancier shampoo than that.
His hair doesn't need it. It's amazing. Flowing locks.
Yeah.
He prays the dirt away.
You know what I think
God,
this is?
make my hair clean.
I think Bill Belichick.
Bill Bellamy?
Yes.
No.
Oh,
No.
not Bill Bellamy?
Don't. No.
No? Bill Bellamy?
No.
The comedian from the 90s?
No.
I guess he's probably still
Bill
around.
Belichick.
Uh,
Different
okay.
Bill.
Sorry,
Bella.
go on. Bill
But
Bellamy.
I think he's out to prove to the league that he's a complete genius. And he's like, what could I do at this point to really just rub over his face and how good I am at this? He's thinking to himself, make Tim Tebow a successful quarterback.
Yeah.
If I can make this work, everyone will have no choice but to fall at my feet in worship.
I will say conversely, and I think the rest of the league is looking at it this way too. If Bill Belichick can't make Tim Tebow a useful contributor player, he will never have another job in the NFL.
Nope.
Because it'll be like, well, if he can't do it, good luck with the Arena
Yeah.
Football League.
Wait, for no money, though? He's not paying him anything.
No guaranteed money.
Oh,
If he
Meaning-
plays, he'll get paid. But if they cut him or
they
if,
could cut him
for
before
play,
camp.
play for
Yeah.
pay. So he's got to suit up and then
So,
go, put
yeah,
me
you're
in
right.
for one round.
Patriots pretty much the end of the line for questionable character football players.
Sometimes it works.
Yeah, Chad Johnson.
Oh, we'll get to him later. Don't worry.
Who was the
Randy
defensive
Moss.
tackle?
Randy Moss worked. I don't know the defensive tackle.
Oh,
They're stunt casting. They do that in
Albert
movies.
Hainsworth. Albert Hainsworth played there for a little.
Former coach Rex Ryan was magnanimous. It's not a surprise to me that Tim would be picked up. Obviously, as I've said before, tremendous young man, very competitive, and I look forward to competing against him.
I'll bet he does.
Asked if he was curious how Belichick planned to use Tebow, Ryan said, not really. Nope. If they want to replace Brady with him, that's fine. Ooh, that's flippant. If I were a reporter, I'd be sure to ask Rex Ryan if he was still a fat sack with a dog's name. Rex, just to double check.
I like it.
38 and 32, Rex. Got a lot of talk to do there. Tebow said it would be an honor to play for Belichick and believes playing with the Patriots will be, quote, a lot of fun. A blatant slap in the face to the Omaha beef.
T-Bone!
And not to mention the good times to be had in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah. Should they do a montage now?
What?
A montage of like all the like sad
Canada.
music while we show all the highlights.
Of Tim Tebow or the I'm sorry.
Canadian football team.
All right.
Canadian Football League.
Okay, I'm sorry. I lost track.
What? What do you mean you lost track?
I got confused.
Come on, keep up. The
You know
podcast
what?
moves
I looked
faster.
ahead.
You should never look ahead.
Never look ahead.
T-Bone!
Chad Ochocinco fails to recognize horseplay is not allowed in the courtroom.
Ochocinco should not be a name
It's the last name.
Yeah.
Why
Ooh.
not?
because it means 885.
Right. But that's how. See, the thing is, people who say that's not the correct Spanish for 85 are correct, but they fail to recognize football players often refer to each other by the single digits like that. Hence,
8-5.
Friday Night Lights. Good job, 1-6. No one says 16
it's so
in
lame.
sports, but no, in sports this is right. 'Cause
Nothing
sports
in
are
Friday
lame,
Night
Phil.
Lights is
No,
lame.
it's no.
Nothing in Friday Night Lights
No,
is
but a
lame,
lot of times
except for the
players-
entire second season.
No,
Okay.
sports players will say like, "Good job, 2-5."
Why don't they say, "Hey, good job, Brad," and then they're like, "Thank you, that's my name."
You don't get
There's
sports.
a
man.
reason.
Everyone has
yeah,
a
you
nickname.
just don't. This is why
I
you're the
give lots of
outsider.
people nicknames like Bonerface and Idiot. Those are two of Joel's nicknames.
Former
Two
NFL
of
wide receiver
dozens.
Chad Johnson, or Ochocinco, depending on who's asking, was in court this week for a probation violation. Oh, that
Nope.
rhymes. On a domestic violence charge. That doesn't rhyme. His domestic violence charge, which, if you don't recall, was for headbutting his then-wife, TV reality star Evelyn
Whoa.
Lozada.
He headbutted her?
He headbutted her. Things seemed to be going swimmingly for Ochocinco as he had reached a plea deal with prosecutors for community service and counseling instead of jail. Broward County Circuit Judge Kathleen McHugh tacked on 3 months of probation. Oh, well, not a big deal. So right now we're good. Then Ochocinco was asked by Judge McHugh if he was satisfied with the legal representation. His response, which I assume was in the affirmative, was to swat his attorney, Adam Swickle, on the butt, as athletes are wont to do.
Oh, big
That's pretty
mistake.
funny.
Contempt
At
of
this,
court.
the courtroom erupted into laughter not seen since the Michael
It's a
Richards
good
vehicle
bit.
trial and error.
But wait a second. This is about headbutting a woman.
Well, wait, everyone's laughing.
Okay.
But Judge McHugh did not like this one bit.
No.
She instantly rejected the previously reached plea deal. I don't know if you're taking this whole thing seriously. I just saw you slap your attorney on the backside. Is there something funny about this? McHugh said, slapping the plea deal document down her desk. The whole courtroom was laughing. I'm not going to accept these plea negotiations. This isn't a joke.
Oh, what the fuck?
Ochocinco
I
said,
agree.
okay, but don't tell Dad when he gets home.
Ha ha.
He apologized, saying, this is your courtroom. I have no intent to make this a joke. It's not funny, Johnson told the judge, a blatant lie. It was pretty hilarious. My life is in shambles right now, and I try my best to laugh and keep a smile on my face. Got news for you. Didn't work for Patch Adams. Not going to work for you.
No, still died.
Judge
didn't work for
McHugh
Patch Adams?
was not, well, he told people that I'm just making people laugh. Like,
Nope.
we're kicking you out of the hospital, Patch. This
Yeah.
person was receiving chemo. You unhooked him from the machine and put on a clown nose.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
A lot of those kids died. A lot of them died.
I just want to make him laugh. Please, give me the radiation. Make him go away. Instead of putting him on, the judge was not swayed. She put him on double secret probation, which is actually jail. 30 days.
Oh,
What?
good.
Yeah.
For cracking a joke?
Yeah, for cracking a joke.
gotta
And
give
for
her
headbutting
shit,
a
dude.
woman. Let's not forget about that.
Well,
Fair
it was
point, Phil.
actually the
Fair
headbutting
point.
he had already served for, but he missed a hearing on his probation previously. That's what this hearing was about. It was a punishment for him missing his previous hearing regarding his probation for headbutting a woman.
Yeah.
Good.
You know, yeah. Sometimes you hear domestic violence charges and you're like, that could span any number of things. And you wonder if the law is being enforced strictly as it should, but you're not sure what happened. Headbutting, there's no like, oh, we just had a disagreement, got a little out of hand. No, headbutting is downright abusive.
Unlike
There's
Joel,
no
I'm against
non-abusive-
headbutting women, so I'm glad that he went to prison.
I'm against I didn't say
International Bowls. Subheadline, Phil has a pun probably. The friendliest confidence. You don't?
What?
International Bowls. Subheadline, Phil has a pun probably. You got a pun on bowls?
Yeah, international. The last time I had an international bowl was in Amsterdam.
Hey, all right.
There you go. We'll take it.
We'll take
Joel
it.
doesn't like it.
Wow. The
I
friendly,
hate Joel.
the friendliest conferences in Division I college football. That's the MAC, Sun Belt, Conference USA, Mountain West, and American Athletic Conference, the new Big East, are working to create more bowl games so that all bowl-eligible teams will have a bowl. A chicken in every pot, a 6-6 bowling green in a bowl. Kidding.
Hey, I've got one.
Yeah.
I go to a lot of bowl games. You could say I'm a serial bowl attender. There you go. Got Joel on one. All right.
There you go. That was a good one.
All right. Go on.
So, where are these little conferences that could be looking to play? Where are these little conferences looking to place their bowls? You done with the puns?
What?
Okay. Miami.
I've got a place you can put your bowls.
Yes. Miami, Orlando, Los Angeles. All right. Little Rock, Boca Raton, Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah.
Ireland, Dubai, Toronto, or Bahamas.
Whoa. Come on, pretty mamas.
Yeah, if you wind up going to Montgomery, Alabama, like, oh, hey, where are you going for your bowl game? Ireland. How about you? Dubai. How about you? Montgomery, Alabama.
Well, not all these. Here's the Dubai Bowl would probably be played on some sort of man-made cloud island as seen in
Yes.
Mario Brothers.
Yes.
Or a castle. And while they seem like a good idea, how is Bowling Green going to afford a flight for over 200 people on a month's notice to Dublin? Do you know how expensive that airfare would be?
Yeah, it's like.
Do you know the
$800.
budget of the Bowling Green football program?
Probably not high.
No.
They're a MAC team.
They can sell candy door to door.
cash.
All those lower conference teams lose money in the bowls because of the seat guarantee.
Really?
So they lose, like hundreds of thousands of dollars because they force them to. It's a terribly corrupt system.
Raise tuition.
Joining us today, and we're very excited to have him, our very own flopping expert, Italian former soccer player, and his name is, I'm looking at it now, Antonio Spumanti.
Hey, it's Antonio Spumante here. Hey, it's a good to be on the podcast, Joel and Jordan.
That cannot be his voice.
That is
That is my
uncanny.
voice.
I guess
What are you talking about?
We actually have a referee who sometimes we'll call on the show named Tony Spumante.
Tony Spumante.
Tony Spumante. Spumante is a very common last name in Italy.
Is it?
A very common last name. Spumante. You have to pronounce it correctly. A Spumante. Spumante.
I want to get the.
Spumante.
I want to get the.
You get to the name. You get to the name.
Okay,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
We get it.
We're gonna have to get you together with maybe your long lost distant cousin or something like that.
I don't know about that. It's a very common name.
Okay,
I
all
am
right.
naming my dog Spumante. Spumante.
Well, absolutely. Very.
So
foppish.
what we've been seeing in the NBA playoffs is
Yeah,
a lot
of flopping.
Oh,
Fines
so
handed
much of
out.
the flopping.
and
Yeah.
they've been fining
Everybody talk
players.
about the flopping.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
They've
what
been
we're
trying
wondering.
to- the commissioner's not even excited. They've been fining people.
They've been finding people.
No.
We're wondering, what is your opinion as an expert on flopping, as a former player in Italian soccer
You
leagues?
know, I've been very pleased with what Americans have been doing about the flopping. Huh?
Pleased?
I've been very pleased. I've seen so many flopping this year. So many wonderful flops this year. Huh?
you think this is
Everybody's
a-
trying so hard with the flops this year, huh?
But you think this is a good thing?
It's a good thing, huh? See, it's such a wonderful flopping.
Why is it a good thing? It takes away from the game. It takes away from the competitive.
Oh, when I was a little boy.
Yes.
In Italy. We used to go to as you say, a football camp.
Okay.
We'd go to a football camp during the summer. And we would spend all the day pretending to brush past each other's legs and falling to the ground and crying. We'd sit down and be crying.
Why weren't you doing
Because it's a part of the game, Jordan. It's a part of the game.
Well, you could be doing dribbling drills or
I'm doing
conditioning.
the dribbling, huh? Dribbling gets in the way of all the beautiful flopping happening during the game.
Wow. Okay.
You see all the flailing arms. You get to fall on the floor. Get the little grass stains on your trousers. The little trouser grass stains.
Yeah, indeed. Well, a lot of people aren't as happy about the flopping.
Oh, no, I'm not entirely happy about the flopping.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
not
good.
entirely happy.
That's good. Well, we aren't either.
No, I think there's a lot of room for improvement in the American flopping, huh?
Improvement? How do
Sometimes I
you mean?
just fall to the ground. I fall to the ground, I'm hurt. I'm hurt on the ground. No, you've got to feel it. You've got to feel the hurt. You've got to actually feel your bones are breaking, huh? You've got to go on the ground and say, oh, I'm a baby. I'm like a baby. I fall and it hurts. I'm a big hurt baby. Hold up your little yellow card. Hold up your yellow card and make me put it to kick.
They don't have yellow cards in the NBA. So,
What?
No, they just it's a foul.
They
or it's
tee
not a
them up.
foul.
It's
Yeah.
there's a technical foul.
No, what?
Yeah, there's no
They
yellow
don't have
card.
it in the NBA.
No.
No.
What?
Well, it's not soccer. You know, it's a yellow card thing in soccer. You would call it football.
No wonder they don't have inspirational or flop properly.
Hey, yeah, you would be right about that.
In the football, we know how to flop.
You
Is it an old
absolutely
country thing,
do.
you think?
Oh, it's a very old country. My mom, after dinner, she'd make us a big pot of spaghetti. We'd have some meatballs. We have a calzone. Then we'd go out to the backfield
That's a lot
and
of
we'd all
carbs.
clap our hands while Mom fell on the ground and cried like a child, saying, the pizza hit me. The pizza hit me. We go, Mama, there isn't no pizza. She go, exactly. That's why you flop. That's why you flop. You feel it. You were
This
about to
is-
give that pizza a yellow card.
This is an incredible insight into just the history of flopping. We do have to ask, though, sorry to change gears here pretty quick, but your name has repeatedly come up during the most recent Europol look into the match-fixing scandal that came out earlier this year. Hundreds of matches fixed across Europe. And you played in very many of them. We were wondering if we could ask you right now, pointedly, were you ever involved in any match fixing during your career?
Oh, no, my leg! Oh,
What are you doing on the floor?
Oh,
What are you-
No one touched you.
Oh, I feel my
No one-
leg.
no
You
one
just fell
touched
out of
you,
your chair.
Antonio.
You fell out of your chair.
Oh, mamma
This is
mia.
obviously a flop. Why are you singing?
Oh, it hurts so
Why
bad.
would you-
I'm crying real tears.
All right, we gotta go.
We got Antonio off the floor.
He did. Yeah, it took us a while. Actually, the next guest came in and talked to him for a few minutes, and all of a sudden Antonio seemed fine and had sort of an extra pep in his step.
Well, that's because he's the Zen master. And
Yeah.
welcome to the podcast, Phil Jackson.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Hey, thank you. It's good to have you here, Phil.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great to have you
It's
here.
interesting. We're swapping
Love
you
it.
out for our Phil, who
Yeah.
who's really going to be bummed because he's a big proponent of positive Phil's.
Yeah.
media.
More Phil's in
But he's
the
also
media,
very
yeah.
high strung. He's very
Yeah.
high strung. He's very stressed all
I
the
think
time.
he's a pretty cool guy. I
Well,
like him.
anyway, he's out
That's
getting
why.
burritos.
So I was getting get me one of those. Give
Yeah,
me some
we were
carne
getting you one.
asada.
Yeah.
Carne
We'll
asada.
get you the carne asada. So what's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah.
So Phil, you've been retired now for a year.
Yeah, been living the retired life.
What have you been doing?
Smoking a lot of dope. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty
Man,
candid.
no, I've
Surprisingly
been smoking
direct.
a lot of dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, come on. You're not.
Even though, like, I'm me and I know me, even I think I'm pretty tall. Man.
Well, you are. You're very.
you are
tall.
quite
I'm
tall.
a tall
You
guy.
play basketball. You play
Played
with
for
the
a long
Knicks.
Yeah.
It-
Man. I've been eating a lot of In-N-Out burgers. Been eating. Man, if you want to talk burgers, man, those burgers are crazy. Man.
no, we didn't really.
Well,
we
yeah, we
brought
brought you
on
to talk
here.
basketball. It's our
No,
big
I
NBA
thought we-
Finals
I
episode.
thought we were here to talk about burgers.
No,
Yeah,
no, we're
we're
not.
here to
I
talk
mean, we can work
basketball.
that in.
I had a fortune cookie the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd it say?
Fortune cookie said tomorrow you're going to be on a podcast.
Whoa, it's a
Yeah.
surprisingly specific fortune cookie.
Very specific.
Yeah.
and that it was accurate. You should figure out who made that fortune cookie.
I drew on it. I drew the fortune on it was a blank piece of paper on the inside.
Wow. Okay.
I was just trying to inspire myself.
Choose your own fortune, sort
Yeah,
of like.
you got to choose your own fortune in this life, you know?
Now, you came out with a book called, I think, something about 11 Rings, talking about the
Yeah.
11 championships you've won. And
Well, I started writing Lord of the Rings and then I realized someone already wrote it.
How
So
far
I
did
decided
how far
to
did you
write
get into
about-
Lord of the Rings before you figured this out?
He was I think that it was he was in the cave with the spider.
That's deep. It's
pretty far.
That's in the third.
Then I'm
book.
like, no, I already saw this in a movie.
Yeah. People would think if you named a book Lord of the Rings, it would just be a pithy reference to both the fantasy epic and the fact that you have so many rings,
Yeah.
so many titles.
what do you attribute your great success to? 6 championships with the Bulls, 5 with the Lakers. You basically won a championship every other year, more than in your 20-year career, because 11 championships. How did you do it?
I credit it to Native American spiritualism.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It's like it's
Some people would have said Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
No, man, no. Like they were the conduit.
Yeah.
They were the conduit to me letting my Native American spiritualism run through them and through the ball. So the ball had to go into the circle. The circle's the hoop, and the circle is representative of life, right? Like you're born, you die, you turn into ash. And then that ash helps plants grow, and those plants feed your babies. And that's why we're all here right now.
It's a sound argument.
The
Wow.
Washington Redskins is a totally racist and offensive name.
That's
Every time
that's true.
Yeah,
Congress
I don't
even said
believe
so
in it.
after listening to our podcast.
yeah. Congress is right to listen to you guys. You're cool dudes.
Hey,
Phil.
you heard it here.
I like you.
The Zen Master
Thank you.
himself thinks we
Yeah.
are cool. Also note, Phil is not here when that was said, so it can't necessarily apply to him.
Smoking weed with Shaq is great.
What?
Yeah.
You smoke with Shaq?
Yeah, he gets high. He freestyles. He has great stories from the set of Kazam.
What?
Blue Chips. Like, he's got stories from the set of Blue Chips. too.
Any
Blue
you can
Chips?
tell on air?
Yeah, it's There was one time when he was dunking, man. He was just like, I could dunk the ball, man. Give me the ball. Pass the rock. I was like, you said it.
Wow.
You said it, Jack.
Captivating. Can you give us your take on the NBA Finals?
Yeah.
We got Spurs, Heat.
You know I won 3 three-peats, right?
Yeah, I do know
3
that.
times I won
You
3
three-peated the three-peats.
NBA champions in a row. It's like turkey and bowling. Only I did it 3 times separately, so it's like doing it 9 times where I took breaks. Just get 20-minute break. It's OSHA regulations. Every 4 hours of work, you get 20 minutes of break, and I feel the same way about championships.
Well, that's somewhat insightful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
Tell us anything about basketball.
I'm helping the Pistons search for a new coach.
Yeah, they actually hired
Yeah.
Maurice Cheeks.
It's pretty much just a crash grab on my part. Yeah.
What do you mean? You're not really helping?
I'm not much of a consultant, man. It's like the trick is telling people what they want to hear, like saying, "You guys are a couple of cool dudes." You know,
What?
you just if you tell people what they want to hear, man, then they like you.
That's a little disappointing.
That would actually
Yeah.
explain a lot in terms of managing the egos you've
Yeah.
managed.
Yeah.
Hey, well, why don't we ask you this? What can you tell us about the famed triangle offense? Your triangle offense, which everyone is raved about.
I
for
was
years.
once in a love triangle with Heather Graham and Jerry O'Connell.
How did that end?
Is that
It ended with me having a wicked, awesome 3-way on peyote out in the middle of the desert. And then we all shook hands and walked our separate ways. I realized I was walking towards the car. They were both walking into the desert, and nobody saw them for 12 days.
that? Does not
I don't think
answer
anybody.
my question.
I don't think anybody's seen Jerry O'Connell yet. It was 8 years ago.
It's not. I asked you about your triangle offense, and okay.
I'm not a huge fan of Kobe Bryant.
All right.
Yeah, we
Well,
knew
kind
that.
of
We knew that.
That dude is high strung, man. He is high strung. High strung.
Yeah. No, we get it.
All right, Mr. Jackson. I think. Do you need to ride home? Are you gonna be? Are you okay to
No,
drive?
I was in an Audi commercial.
I know you're in an Audi.
Trust me, I know where the wheels grip the road. It's under the car where the wheels are.
Right. Well, I hope you don't get in the way of those when you're driving it.
It's impossible. The driver's seat is on top of the car.
Any parting words of wisdom?
All right, I've got one. This is something that my shaman told me last night. Right, he said, "Phil, tomorrow you're going to be on a podcast, and you're going to have the voice of a nation. The nation's going to be wrapped in attention. So remember, like the audio waves that are being formed, that are going into people's ears, are like a worm, and when the worm goes inside, it can either make the apple rotten, or it can help the apple grow. So make sure to fertilize people's brains."
The worm.
And that's
like
what I
Dennis
feel like I
Rodman,
did today.
Who you coached for 6 seasons with the Bull.
I don't care for Kobe Bryant.
All right. Thank you
There
very much.
You have it. For you, the listeners of Sports Podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. I personally recommend a wonderful book called The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Joel saw the movie. He said that it was okay. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network. Again, that's audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network for your free audiobook. And now it's time for another Weird Sports! Weird Sports. The countdown to the final Weird Sports continues.
It's true. This is episode 75. That means
After
we got
this
what?
one,
This is 74.
74.
Only
so we've got-
25 remaining.
Yeah.
Right?
So these all
Yeah.
better be really good. This week's Weird Sport, Tug of War. Before you start judging. Don't start judging.
I wasn't going to judge.
We all know what a tug of war is, right?
We
course.
absolutely do.
Just reading through some weird sports. Tug of war's got a history. And it's oftentimes, am I boring you, Joel? You always yawn during weird sports.
I had dinner before we came. And
I don't yawn every time you're talking audibly.
You do insult me repeatedly, though.
That is true. Tug of War, for those of you who don't know, who are idiots like Joel.
Tug of War got issues, huh?
Right. It's a sport that directly pits two teams against each other in a test of strength, pulling on either end of a rope.
But there's baggage here. It has
But
a
there's
history.
baggage. There's so much baggage that I wanted to share with the Weird Sports audience on America's favorite segment.
Weird sports.
Yes. So let's call this Tug of War, Origins.
I like it. I like it.
Yep.
Incidentally, I feel like this is possibly
prequel.
an
It's a-
example of why we've decided to retire. Weird
No,
Sports.
no. I had other Weird Sports. I wanted this one to be heard.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
It's just some people.
I
would
don't like
argue
your
this is-
attitude here,
It's
Joel.
no, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm interested. I absolutely want to hear the origins of Tug of War. I would just point out though that Tug of War, like, not a weird sport, one of the old most familiar
just
sports.
you wait.
I mean, they're tugging a rope back and forth. That's pretty wild. I would describe that as a bizarre competition, a unique game,
but
an
wait,
unusual
one that-
activity.
You're
like
going to hear why
everybody.
it's weird. You've been
Hey,
judging
yo,
it for a minute and a half, and let
go
me
ahead.
explain.
Let's go ahead. I'm sorry.
The origins of Tug of War are uncertain.
Wait a second.
But it is beyond dispute that this once royal sport was practiced in ancient Egypt and China, where it was held in legend that the sun and the moon played tug of war over the light and darkness. Yeah, this sport
Holy
originated
shit.
for planets playing it. Well, not planets. The sun is a star.
I got to
And the
imagine
moon is a
tides are
satellite.
involved somehow.
Yeah.
Right. It was also widely believed the sport was made popular in Great Britain by Lord Elliot Simpson. The 16th century Simpson was a keen tugger. Yeah. Well, according to the Tang Dynasty book, the notes of Fang, tug of war under the name hook pulling was used by the military commander in the state of Chu during the spring and autumn period, 8th century BC and 5th century BC, to train warriors.
Ooh.
Yeah, they would all get out and they're like, we're going to learn to fight. And they're like, before you can do that, here's a rope. Go tug it for a while. Yeah. Right?
This was the first boot camp, was
Yeah.
Tug of War.
Exactly.
Makes
Here's a
sense.
rope, tug it. But we can't. They're tugging just as hard. Tug it. Keen tugger. During the Tang Dynasty, Emperor Zhuangdong of Tang promoted large-scale tug-of-war games using ropes up to 167 meters with shorter ropes attached and more than 500 people on each end of the rope. Each side also had its own team of drummers to encourage the participants.
Oh wow.
They had drummers. Tug the war. Tug of war.
Tug of war.
Archaeological evidence shows that the tug of war was also popular in India in 12th century AD. There's no specific time and place in the history to define the origin of the game Tug of War. The contest of pulling out ropes originates from ancient ceremonies and rituals. Evidence is found in countries of Egypt, India, Myanmar, and New Guinea. Blah, 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 blah. The Tug of War stories about heroic champions from Scandinavia and Germany circulate Western Europe, where Viking warriors pull animal skins over open pits of fire in tests of strength and endurance in preparation of battle and plunder. How
Oh,
much more badass
fuck
can
yes.
that get?
Vikings.
Animal skins, Vikings, pits of fire, to see who gets to plunder and battle.
Tell you what, in that game, I want to take anchor. I do not want that first spot. What's
Yeah.
the first spot called in Tug of War? Is that in there?
Who
Who wants to be closest to the fire pit?
I don't know. If you're anchor, you're like strapped in there. If you're one of the first people, you might get close to that pit of fire. You just let go.
That's true. You're like, I'm good.
If anything, the anchor's the one.
Yeah.
You're
Everyone
sitting there
let's
going,
go.
No, don't quit, guys. No, don't quit, guys. No, no.
All my team
Ah!
quits. I'm in the fire.
Boom.
Yeah.
Burning like rope.
Yes, like the animal skins that I tug.
Oh, that would smell awful.
Yeah, it would. But at least they don't have to like go and rape and pillage. Right?
I think the Vikings wanted to go rape and pillage.
Yeah, it's probably true. They were a tough set. But yeah, animal skins. They'd pull off animal skins then tug them. That was awesome.
I really want the next part to be about how they pulled off human skins and used that.
Yes.
Tugged human skins.
That would take a different sect of people.
Tugged human skins over a small pool of water.
Yes. I'm going to skip formal rules because we all know the formal rules of Tug of War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the formal rules?
Here comes boring zone. 2 teams of 8 whose total mass must not exceed a maximum weight is determined for the class. Align
a weight
themselves at
class?
the end of a rope approximately 11 centimeters in circumference. The rope is marked with a center line and 2 markings 4 meters on either side.
Sorry, I just
Phil,
didn't realize there was
what?
like
I'm
official
sorry.
rules.
Phil, Tug of War. You can skip the rest of the official rules.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was the plan. Let's cut to the good stuff. Risk of injury. In addition to injuries from falling and back strains, some of which may be serious, catastrophic injuries may result in the form of finger, hand, or even arm amputations.
Oh my God.
Amputations or avulsions may result from 2 causes: looping or wrapping the rope around a hand or wrist. Dumb move.
Don't
Don't
do it.
do it.
That's called looping.
Don't do it, because think about it. People pulling behind you, people pulling in front of you. You got your wrist wrapped in there.
Oh, you're gonna lose
You're
circulation.
gonna lose your arm. But that was only one way. And from elastic recoil of a broken rope if the rope breaks. The rope comes back at you, swings, cuts off your arm.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's right. Not such
don't
a
know if it's gonna-
wimpy little sport as
I
in now.
didn't call it wimpy.
Yeah,
at all. I
not
just
such
said
a.
It wasn't
Now
weird.
it's Vikings and animal skins and amputations.
I never said that it wasn't going to be interesting or awesome or badass. I just said I didn't think it was weird.
I'm gonna cut ahead to examples of when this happened.
Of horrific injuries?
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, June 13th, 1978.
Yes.
Rope parted. 5 teenagers lost fingers or fingertips.
What?
200 other injuries.
Because of the rope
200.
snapping?
Yep, rope snapped. 200 people
Lost
injured. 5 of them
fingers?
teenagers who lost fingers.
How many people were injured?
200.
200 people?
But if only 5 of them lost fingers, I gotta imagine the bulk of the 195 are like, I got a wicked bruise.
Yeah, but how were 200 people hurt by the same rope snapping?
Chattanooga, Tennessee, June 9th, 1995. A man had his hand torn off by a sudden pull because his hand was in a loop.
Whoa!
Yeah.
You were saying this is why you don't
This is
loop.
why
Why you don't
do
loop?
that.
You don't loop. Hand pulled off. I'm going to win this. My hand is in my other hand and my arm is that direction.
Jamie Lannister did.
Taipei, Taiwan. Let me try that again. Taipei, Taiwan. October 25th, 1997. Rope parted. 2 men suffered arm amputations.
What?
Yes, let's go more in depth about this one. Yang Ching Ming and Chen Ming Ku each had their left arms severed below the shoulder during a tug of war match in Taipei, Taiwan. The event held at a park along Keelung River in Taipei in celebration of Retrocession Day, the 52nd anniversary of the Chinese colonial rule in Taiwan. Involved over 1,600 participants whose combined strength exerted over 80,000 kilograms of force on a 5-centimeter nylon rope that could only withstand a maximum of 26,000 kilograms. The rope immediately snapped, and the sheer rebounding force of the broken rope tore off the men's arms. Both men immediately taken to the hospital where their arms were successfully reattached following several hours of microsurgery.
I'll be honest, that kind of dampers it for me.
You're holding onto a rope so tight that the snapback of the rope snapping tears your arm off.
That's ridiculous.
That
I
must have
never
been
would
going
have thought that was
hundreds of
possible.
miles an hour suddenly in order to do
I
that.
almost quipped when you were talking about like horrific injuries. I'm like, well, obviously no one had our arm cut off.
Wrong.
yeah,
happened.
Would have been.
Yeah. Not such a pussy sport now, is it?
I didn't say it was a pussy sport.
And that comes to an end another Weird Sports!
Citizens of Podcast Town, this brings to the close another Sports podcast. But before we go, Phil would like to give you our contact information.
You can email us at sportspodcast@gmail.com. That's sportspodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at sports3podcast. That's at sports3 podcast. You can find us on Facebook by searching Sports Podcast, your little top bar thingy. You can find us on Stitcher Radio. Download the Stitcher app today at Stitcher.com and search Sports Podcast. You can find us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/comedypodnet. While you're there, please leave us a comment. Give us some likes, give us a subscribe, and check out the Curtain Jerks podcast, which is now launched on the YouTube site. Very, very exciting for us. You can find us on iTunes by searching Sports the Number 3 Space Podcast. That's Sports the Number 3 Space Podcast. While you're there, please rate and review. Or you can find all of our back episodes at comedypodcastnetwork.com.
Good job,
Fantastic.
Phil. Good job.
Thank you.
You
Phil
look
Jackson left his satchel, his shoulder bag,
Oh.
in the waiting room.
I was going to say about that. I saw that there. I also saw several cop cars pull up outside.
Yeah. We're
Well-
going to say it was yours. It does have Phil written on it.
Oh, that's fine. I get free drugs.
Okay. You're all right with this?
Free drugs.
Lights off.
You have received this transmission from the Comedy Podcast Network. For more shows, visit comedypodcastnetwork.com.